weird that 2016 was like 5 years ago, like, dang. What? A new one already? Huh. Looks like it. Well, looks like I'll get to it. I'll see you later, man. So, it looks like we have another Toontown Corporate Clash update to talk about, and so quickly after my 1.1 video. Also, speaking of my 1.1 video, I feel like I was a little harsh on that update. You know how I gave this update a 6.8 out of 10? I'd probably give this a 6.8, or 6.5, or even 7 at the very most. Yeah, I don't think that really deserved a 6.8 out of 10. I definitely do think this update deserved like a 7.5 out of 10, because I definitely do like the update, but I think a lot of the mediocrity that came from this update were the brand new lava designs. Some were good, some not so good, but I do think 1.1 was an alright update. I feel like I just rated it way too low initially. But with that aside, we're here to talk about Toontown Corporate Clash's 1.2 update, aka the Overclocked CLO. That's actually pretty cool considering that the CLO is already hard in itself. Just the fact that we're getting a brand new harder take on the CLO is actually really interesting. Yeah, we definitely do have the Toontown Offline harder versions of the bosses and Tooniversal's Megacorp bosses, but the fact that we're getting a brand new take on the CLO, which was already pretty hard in itself, it's honestly really cool to see how they do a harder version on it. But I think now we should take a look at 1.2 to see if this is a fun update or it's just nothing that special. So a bit of a backstory before we start. This update was announced right after 1.1 was finished, as they said their next major update for Clash would be 1.2. Nothing really much was announced regarding 1.2 in 2020, but around January-ish and February we got a look at what 1.2 would be like. They released a video, kinda like what Toontown Rewritten did having an announcer, which was a really good touch.
This mode will push the limits when it comes to battling the cogs.
It basically explained on what 1.2 would be like. This update explains that 1.2 will feature a more difficult version of the CLO, and along with that, new promotions. Yeah, so now when you're a level 50 bigwig, you can be promoted to a level 2 pettifogger, and the next max rank would be barrister. Along with that, remember how I previously mentioned about the washroom and getting a key for it? Well, now at 1.2 you get that task from Judy to get access of that new room. And that's all what we really had regarding with the new 1.2 update, just that it would be a harder boss with the CLO. Also, we have to be at least a level 8 bigwig to gain access to this area, and well, currently, I was a backstabber. Well, time to get to work. So basically I grinded a few days with doing some CLOs and offices to get me where I needed, and finally I got to the level 8 bigwig, which surprisingly only took me a week. 4 days later, bam, we are introduced to 4 new faces with the Lawbots, the litigation team. I really do like these guys. They fit very well for Clash's art style, and the catch to these guys is that they are very strong, probably what we'll expect in the OCLO boss. So there was a bit of silence until BAM! A release date of February 12th, 2021. That was actually pretty quick considering that I wasn't expecting this update to come so soon. I was really hyped for this update, so much so I got dressed for the occasion and waited for 12 AM to strike. So it was a pretty straightforward update, no waste of a time with anything leading up to it. It's basically just, here's the update, have fun. Also, when I played this update at launch, I noticed that there was no technical issues. I didn't experience lag, I didn't experience crashes or anything like that. I was even playing with a few of my friends and everything was going really smoothly, so I gotta commend them for that. So this should be a pretty good sign for everything going well so far. Alright, so starting off, a few things mentioned was the new UI and... I wasn't expecting them to change that. It was weird at first, nothing bad, but it did grow on me, so it was okay for the most part. In some cases, they actually do look a little better than the original. They organized pretty much all of the side stuff, like racing, fishing, trolley, XP, and all the trophies and stuff. They even changed the suit page. I like this newer looking status area for it. I like how the bar moves with the amount of stuff you need to progress with your new suit. And also over here you have the levels being displayed in the book, which was pretty neat. You wanna know what was not so neat? The gag UI. Now look, I kinda like it, I'm sure it'll grow on me, but it was really confusing on what it was at first. Like yeah, we have this star over here to know if your gags are prestiged, but some other things were kinda confusing. Like I didn't know how to pass or run, so it was a huge guessing game for me. Like I wanted wanted to run, but I accidentally passed. I'd prefer when you hover over the icon, text would show you what it actually does instead of me just guessing what it does, but thankfully they fixed that with their 1.2.2 update. Now I can actually see what buttons I'm pressing, so I'm glad that's fixed. I've definitely got used to the new gag UI by now, so overall, this one's not so bad. I think I actually like the new gag UI. However, one of the most annoying things is the confirmed or lock button. It's annoying, like, it's pretty nice just in case you want to pick a gag at the last minute, but you always have that one person who forgets to confirm and you always have to wait like 30 seconds for them to do it. I ended up disabling mine, but there's always that one person who forgets to do it and wastes 30 seconds of the clock. It's just kinda annoying to deal with. I mean, to be fair, I don't really experience this problem no more. This was more of an issue at launch, but I think a lot of people have now understood the confirm button. I don't know, this is an okay feature, it's just something I would probably never use. Some other things I find annoying they did was they sort of nerfed SOS cards. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, they're kind of useless for when you need help. Like, some of the SOS cards that would usually kill cogs don't really do that anymore, they just give you a bonus on a certain gag type. Now granted, if this was with a group of people and you're either doing a building or a boss, I guess these are pretty helpful, but when you want to do something alone and you need help, well, you're kinda screwed now. I don't know why they did this, they could have just used this and the regular SOS cards, but now most of them are just gag increased damage. I just find this weird, like, I don't understand why they could have made their own new SOS cards that are like this, and just keep the other ones just how they were, but okay, I guess. I'll definitely prefer how SOS cards were originally. So now that we got all the small nitpicks out of the way, now is time for the main attraction, the CLO. Alright, so first off, in order to get into the CLO, we have to get a task from Judy over here. She'll tell us to go get 2 attorneys. Jeez. I guess the cogs kill their own kind?
I guess we're just hitmen to Judy now because she doesn't know where Toons, damn.
So that's simple, just do 2 law offices, and after she requests us to do a 6-story building. Once we got that done, we have the washroom key to the CLO. So now that we can go through these wait, what's this? It's highly recommended to have 4 or more max gag tracks before attempting this fight. Oh, okay, I'm not sure why they wouldn't tell me this ahead of time, but I'll just stick with the gags I have, so, can I skip? Oh my god, can I not skip? Do I have to wait here for the whole 30 seconds every time? It's not like I'm gonna take my time every time I go to this door and always think,
oh wow, I really should consider this time.
look, I'll take the risk, I'm not going with an unfamiliar group, I'm just going with my friends. Just let me go, I'm not gonna change my mind the 30th time you showed me this. Okay, so the lobby looks alright for the most part. I'm not expecting anything amazing, it's just an alright lobby. We got these bushes over here which make noise for some reason, but we'll talk about them later. Alright, so we got a group and everything, so let's start the CLO. Alright, so we're back with Lauren and Bumpy here, introducing us to the new Oh, I guess not. We start off with a laser cog round this time around.
Alright, this seems pretty simple, I think I got this.
And simple enough it is. It's slightly harder than the original laser cog from the regular one. Why did everyone leave?
Maybe I got a bad group or something, let's try this again.
Alright, I got another group, let's try this once more. Alright, so the laser cog round for the most part is pretty average. It's kinda like the final round with the regular CLO, but it has more why does everyone keep leaving?
I swear to god, if everyone leaves again.
Alright, so finally this went successfully. So this round was alright and well balanced. I really liked the intro cutscene, and the laser cog round was pretty fun, I guess. Although I am running out of gags, I'm not sure if this is gonna be a problem later down the line. Okay, so now we finally move on to round 2, where we finally meet in-game the litigation team. They all have made a really good transition from 2D to 3D from the comics. The litigator looks really good, and the stenographer, scapegoat, and case manager look really great, and I have to say they did a really good job on these guys. So it looks like we dropped by a meeting with the CLO and litigation team. Now it's time we fight both of these guys. It's always a random chance on who you're gonna get. Out of all the times I tried this, none were worse than the litigator and case manager. You have to go for the litigator first, otherwise he'll unlure all the cogs in the match. Oh, and did I mention cogs can just join? Initially, I thought you would be brawling these two, since I guess it made sense, but nope. More cogs keep piling in, and that's very great when you barely have any gags left when fighting these cogs with like nearly 4,000 health. Also, more than 4 cogs can be summoned, which means not only do you have to focus on the litigation team, but the other cogs coming in as well. I mean, hey, something we can use though is sues. Oh my god, finally we found a use for them. Yeah, remember how I said that suing was probably useless in Toontown Corporate Clash? Well now, they're gonna be your best friends when fighting the litigation team. Use these on the regular cogs, and try to focus on the litigation team first. Also, by the way, the litigation team can just be really cheap at times. They can attack you nearly 3 or 4 times each round. Like the first time they do an attack, it takes away 40 damage. Then they give themselves an advantage, whether it's on learning the cogs of the roar of the litigator, or they just heal themselves. Then they attack you again for being vulnerable, or for being a threat to them, and because fuck it, they attack you again. And I'm dead.
And you want to know the worst part about it is, you barely have any gags against the litigation team. You're pretty much helpless against them. There's literally nothing to do. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna crack open a Pepsi. I'm going to take a deep breath, pray to God. Jesus, I've done so much good in my life. Please let this go well, and try again.
It's worth mentioning during round 2, you always want to get like the scapegoat and litigator, because while yeah, both of them are annoying, the stenographer and case manager can just be a pain to fight. The stenographer takes away certain levels of gags, so say if you had like a level 7 gag, she'll pretty much just disable it. Now you could use the gag, but it comes with the price. Getting hit with a hammer. The case manager will always ensure a cog, and that's always annoying because that just gives them more health. And with the litigator, if you squirt him, he's gonna just do more damage on you, so it's really not a good idea to do that. So, just in the second round alone, it went from 0 to 100. I say this because the first round was way easy. You don't expect too much, but you get hit after hit after hit with these cogs. Come on, come on, come on. Damn it! No, 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 no. Oh, come on! They comboed me. Dead, dead. Something I've paid attention to, that it's probably most recommended that you get a gag up unite for the CLO, because usually during round 2, there's always going to be that person who gives up a gag unite, and honestly, whoever does that, you are honestly the best person alive. Now I actually have a chance at fighting the litigation team. I think it's probably for the best, and myself included, that while doing these, you should probably do some CFOs.
Okay, I don't want to sound, dramatic or anything, but I just killed one of them. I think I actually have a chance at winning this!
Alright, I'm actually getting somewhere with this boss battle. Maybe I can finally beat this round. I mean, we are short a few people in the back, but we got this.
Alright, so kind of my game plan here is just to stay as careful as possible, because I really don't want to mess this up. I'm actually getting pretty far. Okay, this is actually really cool. Okay.
Yeah, so apparently, if the other side dies, the rest of them come over here. I hate this game. So finally, after a lot of soda, a lot of patience, and a lot of me banging my desk out of anger, I finally, by some miracle, beat it. I got one, got the second one, and finished the rest of the cogs. I cannot describe to you how happy I was getting to this point. So now we're at round 3. It's a lot more simple. It's basically from the regular CLO cannon round, except it's a lot more bigger. I easily got the trunk since these rounds are pretty simple. But now, we've gone to the round that scares me. Pretty much unfamiliar territory, and I've heard it's not easy. Round 4.
If I'm being honest with you, I'm a little nervous right now. I've done this 13 times, and all 13 times I never even got to this point. So I'm going to try to be as careful as I can, and just try not to die.
Okay, so far so good. We instantly got the CLO hurt. Stunning the CLO is a bit different. You can't instantly get a cog and destroy it so she can be stunned. There's actually 4 of them protecting her. You have to kill the EXE cogs for you to be able to stun the CLO. But when stunning her, you have to jump. How come? Yeah, that's why. Because now, for some reason, it hurts you, so I totally recommend keep a watch out for that. However, that's gonna be a little tough when you have a million things to deal with. One of them being the tornadoes. Oh god, the tornadoes. Okay, so in the original CLO, it was kind of something she really wouldn't do all the time. Like, maybe at most, in a regular CLO, she does it once or twice, but here, nah, that's one of her favorite attacks. These will be the death of you, and I'm not playing. Once you see that green exclamation point, just run. Sometimes she'll do a tornado, and then 5 seconds later, she'll do it again. It's so hard to dodge these, and they're scary as hell. If one of them hits you, that's kind of it. You have to be running for your life to find any laugh points for this. Also, off chance someone gives you a tune-up unite, I now consider you my best friend, because getting one of these feels like such a relief after being scared of dying any second.
Alright, so this is a little tough, but I think it's going alright, I guess.
You start to understand the pattern for the OCLO, but it's difficult to pull off. Going back and forth is incredibly difficult, not to mention you're bound to get hit at one point. And dying in the OCLO, oh man. Let's just say when you die in the OCLO, it's not a good feeling whatsoever. I'm gonna be honest, it was actually really destroying that I actually died at that point. You know, it's not like I've been playing this for hours on end, only for me to die at that point. So funny enough, I actually managed to get to round 4 again on my first try with this group. Whether it's because I got a lucky group or people are starting to understand how to fight the litigation team properly, it went really smooth.
Alright, I have a shot at redemption. We finally made it to round 4 again, and this time, let's hope we can actually kill the OCLO.
So trying it again, I at least know what I'm expecting. I know to be careful of the jump and the tornadoes. I feel like I got an idea of what to do. If one's coming in a circular motion, I pretty much just go into a corner. Also, the cogs here sometimes will come out of nowhere. Like, you could be doing something and damn it! Oh, come on! How was I supposed to dodge that? I got hit by a cog and then hit by a tornado.
Okay, so I think I'm a little more knowledgeable about beating the OCLO, and a little more calm about losing. I feel like I fully understand on what to do. I feel like more people have started to get an understanding on what to do. They haven't been leaving as often. They haven't been, like, screwing up the second round. Well, obviously, I've also been screwing up the second round as well, so I'm a little to blame. But I feel like I'm getting a little more closer and closer to finally beating the OCLO.
So after many attempts, we finally made it back to round 4. We've done the OCLO many times, so luck and previous skill from my other attempts needed to be on our side. We needed to be at the right place at the right time when it came to these tornadoes and these other things trying to attack us. Because reminder, you can get killed cheaply at times. It really sucks when all it takes is just 3 or 4 hits for you to die. Maybe a little higher for some people, but for me personally, that's what I'm kind of just dealing with. I get really close to death, but then, after a few days of playing with the OCLO, with my friends, going through all this trouble, going through many deaths, this finally happens. Yeah, I actually beat the OCLO. I'm completely shocked I actually did it after, you know, many tries of doing it, but I finally did it. I sell pretty prematurely, and now I can finally be done with the OCLO. So, yeah, that was something. I don't think I've ever felt this much enjoyment of beating a boss before in Toontown. Man, I really wonder what the reward is. Well, I couldn't really read it here, but it's just... Oh, that's kind of lame. So yeah, it's pretty much just cease and desists and summons. Cool? Good to know that my least favorite reward is now the hardest boss in the game. It gives me zero motivation to get more summons now. Honestly, the real reward is you getting this achievement from the OCLO. I'm gonna be honest though, the rewards here really blow. I know it's supposed to be a remixed version of the boss, but like, they couldn't have made a newer reward alongside the summons? Because if I'm being totally honest, no one's gonna really go out of their way to do an OCLO for the summons. Because at that point they can live without doing an OCLO since Sues are really all you need. I guess it's kinda like a bonus for people who still like the summons, but like, come on, you couldn't have done another reward. I mean, it's hard to figure out a third one, but like, it would have made the OCLO a little more replayable with the newer reward. Also in the 1.2 update, they added Tumbles. Tumbles is alright, I guess. You get a task from him in each playground, and with each reward, you get a new pose for your name tag profile. It's pretty nice, because now you can customize with your name tag a little more. We also have the plant puzzle, which made me want to kill myself. So here's the thing with the plant puzzle. So, it's different for everyone, so that means you can't just look up a tutorial for it and just get it easily. I mean, that's not bad. You just basically have everyone else figure out their own way to unlock it, but what makes it so annoying is that you have to keep revisiting the OCLO lobby, and if you're like me, you're gonna get this message every time. And God forbid you make one mistake, guess what you have to wait for again? This just makes it so much more confusing why they never got rid of this. Why can't it just be, okay, I understand, I click continue. Why do I have to wait 30 seconds every time I want to go into the OCLO lobby? Look, I understand, my gags suck. I don't know what you really want me to do other than train it, but like, at the very least, can you just like give me this message and I can automatically just like pass by it? Why do I have to wait every 30 seconds? Please, for the love of Jesus, please get rid of the 30-second message. It's especially even weirder that they wanted people to even revisit the OCLO lobby lobby, so it makes it even more confusing that this message is still here, even for people wanting to do the plant puzzle. But with a little bit of time and patience, you can get the plant puzzle done. It took me roughly around 2 hours to actually finish this. I also recommend writing down the combination on a piece of paper so you don't have to rely on your memory, but with you doing this so many times, you'll probably will rely on your memory to do it. It's a lot of trial and error, so make sure to be patient about getting it. But after unlocking it, you get a hat and you can talk to plants. That is the greatest 2 hours I've ever spent. So after going through this whole update and reviewing everything for a few months, what are my final thoughts about 1.2? It's just okay. I don't know. I don't know if I really enjoyed this update that much. Okay, so to get the little things out of the way, stuff like the new gag UI, the sticker book UI, are all alright additions. They were weird to me at first, but in the end, I got used to them. And hey, even some other things like the new UI I really do like. Then you have stuff like this on the other hand. I feel like SOSs in this game have lost all of its meaning. Instead of saving our souls, or C got screwed. But instead of saving our souls, it's more so like, hey, before you die, you have a slight advantage against the cogs, but it won't make much of a difference because you're gonna die in the next round anyways. It would have made more sense if this was here alongside the regular ones. I mean, hey, they would have had their own advantages and disadvantages. The newer SOSs are good for bosses like the CLO and other higher cogs, but aren't so good for alone use. The older SOS are good for alone use, and at other times you might need help getting rid of the cogs in a boss. They'd be good alternatives to each other. It wouldn't have made the newer SO cards useless because they'd have their own purpose, and so do the older ones. The newer ones would have been an alright addition, if they only kept the older ones as well. Without it, I can only say it only has its purpose to bosses and like group events when fighting the cogs. Also, I'm calling this. When they redo the CFO, they're gonna make a reward for it. They'll get rid of the unites and replace them with gag increased damage unites instead of restocked unites. I'm calling it, guys! Anyways, Clash has no intentions on bringing them back, since they've even said themselves that they're not bringing them back. That sucks then. Alright, but the thing we've all been waiting for is, what are my thoughts on the CLO? It was okay. I don't know if I'll ever really replay it that much, but it was okay, I guess. I will say though, the payoff of actually beating this boss is probably the best feeling you'll ever have. That's not a joke, actually. I was actually so happy beating this boss because it took almost forever to do. I think the biggest problem with the CLO, in my eyes at least, is that it's just too hard. And I know this is the harder version of the CLO, but I feel like at times it gets a little excessive. So the litigation team is already hard and annoying, so in the 1.2.1 update, let's just make them more hard and annoying.
Okay, so now I kind of think, what was even the point of that? I feel like now you're making the CLO harder for the sake of it being harder. Like, it was already hard as it is. I don't think it needed more buffs to it.
So what they did to the case manager is now that he can undo sues. Why? I don't know. It just seems really pointless. It's as if the only reason why this is here is just that it's now another thing you have to worry about, which is kind of dumb. You already have a ton to worry about with a case manager, and now this just adds one more thing. He can heal cogs. I think that's more than enough for him. Now he can just basically undo sues. They also did the same to the stenographer, but it wasn't as bad as the case manager. What makes the CLO even more annoying is that it's just a hassle to even prepare for it. You have to get a ton of SOS cards, a ton of unites, a ton of sues, and even some fires prepared as well. Alright, we're ready to prepare for the CLO. All things are good. Let's go and fight the CLO. Alright, I died on round 2, and now I wasted all my SOS's, unites, and fires. Well, it looks like we gotta try that all again. It's a very unforgiving boss to play through, but because it's so unforgiving, it's just that much more annoying to just play. It doesn't feel fun at times because you'll mostly be relying on luck to be winning the CLO. I'm not saying there's no skill to the CLO, but just one bad move, one bad round, and it's basically over for you. Also, finding groups for the CLO are not that easy, especially nowadays. Yeah, that's another issue, finding people to actually play the CLO. When it first came out, a lot of people were playing this, but nowadays, it looks like a lot of people fell off from the CLO, which I was actually a little surprised to see this. I don't know, even though it wasn't a whole me thing, I thought other people would have been playing this, but no, actually. I would see the occasional CLO group here and there, but for the most part, a lot of people weren't really playing it. Or maybe people are still playing the CLO, I probably just catch them at bad times, but regardless, it definitely does look like less and less people have been playing the CLO. I mean, to be fair, that happens with pretty much every update, but it was kind of drastic on how much people stopped playing it. I remember I wanted to just replay the CLO just one more time, and this was taking place during July. I remember I tried looking for a full group for the OCLO and I literally was waiting for almost an hour and a half. I find it weird that they wanted people to replay this boss over and over and over again, because like, I'm really only seeing people, or really just casual Clash fans, really playing this just a few times and then that's it. They expected people to play this boss over and over and over again. But here's the thing, making a boss this tough, I feel like can only be played once. You play it once, you're so happy that you beat it because it was really this hard, you move on with your life. I don't understand why they made it so people had to replay this over and over again just so they can progress with the game and get more laugh points. It doesn't feel worth it in my opinion. There's so many unfair deaths, especially during round 4. Every 5 seconds a tornado appears, again and again and again. It's like Oklahoma at this point. I feel like this also could have been toned down a bit just because after one tornado, then another one comes up. The OCLO is just very not pick up and play for me to just casually replay with. It's just that there's a lot you need to do to play this boss. Groups aren't easy to find and the rounds can be very annoying, and the payoff for it all it's just some summons. Yay, I can summon some cogs. Yeah, it's safe to say I didn't really enjoy the OCLO all that much. I might have been like, wow, this is really tough, but I'm determined to actually beat this, but once you actually beat it and actually look back, yeah, it's really something you'll be playing once and probably never again. You know, maybe I'll revisit it here and there, but for the most part, I'm kinda done with the OCLO. One thing I will give the Clash team is that the litigation team looks so cool, like, holy crap, these guys are really cool. I just love their designs alone so much. They are actually really nice. These may be my favorite lawbots alone, especially the stenographer over there, is what some weirdo would say. Man, imagine if they did that to the cogs. Oh, come on. The cutscenes here are actually really good as well. Like the CLO ones, they're just really funny to watch to see out through the boss. But to put it short, the idea of a harder boss is not bad. However, I just don't really see myself really replaying the OCLO that much, or even at all. It's okay. It's not a bad boss fight, but preferably I'll just max the CLO by being a level 50 bigwig. But all in all, I think you should try it at least once. Try to beat it at least once, since I don't expect you to beat it on your first try. Or maybe, I don't know, I may just suck at Clash. So that's really all I have to say with the OCLO. It wasn't my favorite boss. There was times I just didn't really have fun with it, and I don't really see myself replaying it. I mean, the OCLO isn't like horrible, but I think it's probably my least favorite boss in Clash. So 1.2 was an okay update. It wasn't like an update where it affected too much. The OCLO is completely optional, so with every other change like the Gag UI sticker book, tumbles, and the new streets with Donald's Dreamland and other things like that, were nice updates. I'm just not a huge fan with the changes they did with the SOS cards and the OCLO. While it's okay, I just don't really see myself revisiting it, like I've just pretty much said a million times now. But I'll remind you guys, I think this update was okay, but I feel like if they just handled things way differently, this would have been a way better update. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up the Lawbot revamp for Clash. I don't think they'll do anything else with the Lawbots and move on to another one. Oh my god. Okay, really quick, before I end this video, I just saw this tweet made by Clash, but how much more of the story are they going to continue with the Lawbots? I don't know if this is like a conclusion or something. Maybe it is a conclusion for all I know because they haven't really released this yet, but if they're going to expand the story even more for the Lawbots, oh my god. I thought ending it at 1.2 would have been a perfect place. I don't know if this is going to be like an expansion again, but like, still, it kind of makes me wonder what more could they do to the story. Also, from the looks from this tweet, it kind of looks like time travel is involved. I don't know why, but it kind of reminded me of when Toontown Infinite tried doing that. It was planned for like this whole event, but that's like for a different video. Still though, I just really hope they move on to a different cog type. Anyways, back to the video. Now I know it's up in the air on who they'll go for next. The board bots can desperately use a makeover since it has 3 different styles designed by 3 different people, I'd assume. But I don't really see them redoing the board bots just yet. I personally think it's gonna be either the cell bots or the boss bots. People are guessing it's gonna be the cell bots with the amount of changes they've been getting, like they no longer have merits, they're just called invoices, and that the SOS cards have been changed. But honestly, I'd like it even more if they changed the boss bots. They can use a makeover with the designs. The boss itself is not the funnest boss to play, and the area as well could use a bit of a change. I know it's way better than Lawbot HQ before it was changed, but the boss bots could just use it. However, I can honestly just see them doing cell bots anyways. I mean, personally, I don't care if it's cell bots or boss bots, just please don't touch the cash bots just yet. Oh, no, 30. Well, I think that's probably the last we're going to be getting with the Lawbot revamp.
Well, honestly, I had a ton of fun reviewing all this stuff. We reviewed the new Lawbots, the new Lawbot boss, and even the OCLO. It was definitely a lot of fun to just look over. So I think that's probably the last we're going to be getting with it, and we're probably going to be in for something new, like the new Sell bots, the Cash bots, or even the Boss bots. Whatever the next revamp will be, I'll make sure to check out, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I gotta go see Chipper now. Hey, I'm finally back from finishing the update. I mean, I don't know why. Yeah, but I'm just glad it's done and over with now. I could just relax for a little bit. Dude, there's no Operation Desert Storm update coming soon. Look, I'll show you. I'm gonna go on my iPad, I'm gonna go check on the Operation Desert Storm website, I'm gonna check it out, and oh, what do you know, there actually is an update coming out.